Coming of Age is coming up next. I'm your host, Josh Newby. First today, we'll talk about the COVID vaccine and get the answers to the questions you're too scared to ask. Is it safe? How can I get one? Can I choose which one I get? And what about side effects? Then we'll also give you some tangible steps to keep your ticker ticking with exercises you can do right at home in the time of COVID. Stay with us. Coming of Age starts right now. As we age, staying active in life and involved in the community can become a challenge. But with Council on Aging of West Florida's range of home-based services, you remain healthy, independent, and engaged. From Meals on Wheels and respite care to senior dining sites and the retreat, you'll feel empowered to regain your freedom while retaining what makes you, you. We've been in the community for nearly 50 years, advocating for elders and supporting those who care for our parents and grandparents. We were there when your father's health began declining, when your mother needed companionship during the day. And guess what? We'll be there down the road when you need those services too. Now, join with us as we talk together about the aging issues that matter to you. The COVID-19 pandemic has been a frightening and heartbreaking time in our history, but the development of several vaccines represents a beacon of hope and encouragement. Getting Americans vaccinated against COVID-19 is a crucial step in protecting our nation's health and restoring a sense of normalcy to our daily lives. Dr. Rudy Seelman is the Corporate Director of Pharmacy at Baptist Healthcare, and he is with us today to tell us what we need to know about the COVID-19 vaccine. Doctor, to get started, share with us a little bit about your background and your experience at Baptist Healthcare.
Sure. So I received my doctorate in 2002 from Mercer University, and then after residency, I came to Baptist Healthcare. Been here coming up on 20 years now. I've practiced in multiple areas from critical care medicine to infectious disease, internal medicine. In my current role now, I am the Corporate Director of Pharmacy for Baptist Healthcare. So I oversee pretty much anything medication related for the 3 acute care hospitals. We have 2 outpatient infusion centers, 2 retail pharmacies, and then we have 84 physician offices with their medication practices.
Let's start our discussion with an explanation of how the vaccine works.
Okay, well, the science is really fantastic. You know, it's actually older science with this mRNA technology that you're hearing about. But essentially what it does, going back to January of 2020, the COVID-19 virus, we had mapped its genome. And so what we were able to do with the vaccine is the messenger RNA, we've actually programmed messenger RNA to go into our cells and make a specific protein that the real COVID virus actually has. And we call that a spike protein. So what we do, we inject the vaccine, the mRNA will tell our cells to make this spike protein. It's not really part of the COVID virus, it's just a portion of it. So we have no chance of getting COVID from the vaccine. But anyway, our cells will make that protein. Our bodies will recognize that protein as something bad. Our body does not like it, and basically will activate our immune system to create antibodies and get that protein out of our body. So in essence, what that does now is kind of introduce our bodies to COVID without actually exposing us to COVID. So the next time, whenever we actually are exposed to the real COVID virus, our body has already seen that spike protein. It recognizes it right away, activates our immune system. We already have antibodies to it, attacks the real COVID virus spike protein, identifies it, attacks it, gets it out of our body, ideally before we become infectious, thereby giving us some protection.
So how many shots will you need, and how far apart are those shots?
Sure. There's different companies making the vaccine right now. In the United States, we have 2. We have Moderna and Pfizer. At Baptist Healthcare, we've been using the Moderna vaccine. And that one, you require 2 shots, and they're 28 days apart. The Pfizer vaccine, which again is available in certain areas of the country, that one also is 2 shots, and those are 21 days apart. And then there's others that are in investigation that we can talk about later on.
So will I have any side effects? And if so, what are they? What does that look like?
Sure. That's a great question. It's very, very similar to other vaccines. You know, obviously we're going to have the pain at the injection site, some redness, swelling at the injection site. Those can occur. You can develop a small low-grade fever, some muscle aches, some fatigue, even chills can occur. If you do have those, they last anywhere from 24 up to 72 hours. And then what we are seeing, which is predicted, with your first dose, most folks tolerate the first dose with no side effects at all, or they'll have very, very mild ones. But their second dose 28 days later, especially the younger population, they will have typically a little bit more pronounced side effects, maybe a little bit more muscle ache, a little bit more fever. And that's expected because, like we mentioned before, the first dose kind of activates our immune system to recognize the virus. When we give a second vaccine, our immune systems are already ramped up. And so it attacks it more fiercely, if you will. And those side effects are a sign that your immune system is working, it's doing its job. And again, those side effects last 24 to 72 hours. We are definitely seeing that in the older population, greater than 65, that the second dose, those folks do not appear to have as many side effects with the second dose as the younger population. And that's, again, as expected because the younger population has a more robust active immune system.
How effective is the vaccine right now?
So, the studies, they were done in, up to 70,000 folks in the initial studies. And between Pfizer and Moderna, the two vaccines that we currently use in the United States, they're coming, after you've had both doses, they're coming in right about 94 to 95% efficacy at preventing COVID. So really highly, highly effective, what we're seeing so far.
How long after I get the vaccination will I be protected from getting COVID-19? Do we know at this point?
So that is the $1 million question. The science, the vaccine is so new. We're still determining, studies are ongoing about how long that protection will last. There's ongoing studies measuring antibodies and exposures to see, is this going to be a vaccine that we need to get every year, or could it be something that we get every 5 years, or boosters? That is still to be determined at this point right now, but there are definitely ongoing studies looking at that very thing.
The question, of course, that everybody wants to know the answer to, and we've seen a lot of conflicting information about this, is the vaccine safe?
Sure. Then again, a question that we've definitely heard, and from everyone, the initial studies, the vaccine is deemed safe. The adverse effect profile that I just gave you earlier, that is what we saw in the studies with up to 70,000 folks, and then you go worldwide, you've got even more, and those are the adverse events that we're seeing. I would tell you that it's safe enough that even at-risk populations, to me, this speaks volumes. The CDC and the American Council of Obstetrics and Gynecology, so ACOG, who control for pregnancy and lactation, they actually recommend that if you're at an at-risk population and you're pregnant, that you should still be offered the vaccine. To me, that speaks volumes and safety right there, just for that, as well as lactation, the same thing. Through all the studies, it was deemed safe. Some of the concerns of other vaccines, there's always been talk about do vaccines with Bell's palsy or Guillain-Barré, and what we've found in those cases are occurring lower in the vaccinated group than they do in the regular population rate. So just a normal occurrence of those happens more often than they do in the vaccinated rate.
We hear about the different brands of vaccines, and you mentioned them earlier, Moderna and Pfizer. Do you get to choose which one you receive, or is it pretty much just luck of the draw?
So right now it's whichever one we have, and I think the state has done a very good job as far as keeping it pretty, if you got Moderna to start with, they're keeping Moderna in your area, or Pfizer, the same. It is very important that whatever you receive your first dose, if you receive Moderna for your first dose, you want to receive Moderna for your second one. You don't want to intermix those. But right now, the availability is based on what the governments provide. Hopefully in the future, we're going to have, a lot more where you can have multiple options, but that's where we are right now.
Are other vaccines being developed?
As you mentioned, there are several in study. Right now we have Moderna and we have Pfizer. Johnson & Johnson has their vaccine that uses it's a similar technology, but a little bit different. And they're on track to potentially have theirs being used in the United States as early as mid-March. AstraZeneca is another company. Their vaccine is not available in the US right now, but it's already being actively used overseas in Germany, England, et cetera. And then there's several other companies in the pipeline making the vaccine as well. Some of them with the same technology, some of them with different technologies.
Excellent. And last question for you, why should I get vaccinated?
Okay. Why to get vaccinated? I could give you an hour presentation on that, but the first thing, obviously, if nothing else, just to protect yourself. That's the obvious first answer. I think everyone, it is a personal choice about being vaccinated, but I think all of us have either been affected or know someone who's been affected by COVID. And it is a very, very serious illness. Just from the get-go, why take it? Well, first, protecting yourself, but then going beyond that, the next reason would be to protect the people that you interact with, your loved ones. If you've protected yourself by being vaccinated, you've greatly reduced the chances that you can transmit COVID to your loved ones who maybe, have a weakened immune system or may not be able to handle COVID. So that would be the second reason I would say it. The third reason, one of the things that we're still learning about with COVID, and you want to absolutely not get COVID, and this really, I talk to my young population about this. A lot of my young folks, they feel strongly that they're young and healthy. They're going to be okay with COVID. One of the things that we're learning with COVID is that there's long-term effects of COVID, both causing heart damage, lung damage. Those are things that we're learning in the younger population. So anything that we can do to prevent people from getting COVID potentially prevents them from having long-term damage that we're still learning about every day. The fourth thing I would say about it, again, as we protect yourself, you're protecting people around you. And the more people that we protect, suddenly we start developing that herd immunity that we hear so much about. And what that essentially is saying is that if you have a room of 100 people, if only one person is vaccinated and protected, COVID can still transmit very, very easily through the other 99 people. But now suddenly, if I have a room that has 70 out of 100 people vaccinated, it's very hard for COVID to keep transmitting because it eventually runs into someone who can't pass it on. So the more folks that we can get vaccinated, the closer we will achieve that herd immunity. And then suddenly we end up with a population that's very well protected with very little COVID. And that's really the step to us getting back to kind of our normalcy. A common question is, when can we stop wearing masks? When can we stop doing this? Well, the vaccine is one of the tools in the repertoire to get us there. Obviously I feel very strongly about folks getting vaccinated. If you get the opportunity, definitely would encourage folks to get vaccinated. To your question about how do I go about getting vaccinated? Right now for Escambia, Santa Rosa County, the best thing is to contact the health department. I would really encourage, again, everyone to get vaccinated because obviously we know this is a serious illness and the vaccine, I understand it's a personal decision about being vaccinated, but this is a way to help protect ourselves, our loved ones, our community, and to help get ourselves back to a state of normalcy.
Excellent information, Doctor. Obviously very timely. Thank you so much for joining us. Next, stay active in the new year from Safe at Home.
Why do people love ACT's retirement life communities? There are more reasons than just the active lifestyle. Like ACT's Life Care, a plan that protects your nest egg with predictable monthly fees, even if your healthcare needs increase. So you can enjoy a carefree today and a worry-free tomorrow. Plan a visit and see why our satisfaction rating with current residents stands at 98%. ACT's Retirement Life Communities, where loving kindness lives.
Since 1989, TLC Caregivers has been providing the special help people need to stay independent in their own homes. TLC is an employer of choice in the home care market. Our employees are screened with level 2 background screens, drug-free, and have caregiving experience. If you have time, enjoy people, and are interested in joining us, go to tlccaregivers.com to learn more about becoming a TLC caregiver or visit us in Cordova Square.
When cancer tries to take you away from the things that matter most, Baptist Cancer Institute offers caring physicians and the most innovative treatment options. With convenient locations and a wide array of support programs and services, we're here to help you during the most difficult of times. As a member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, we're bringing even more innovative cancer care to our community right here at home. When you need cancer care, we'll be there.
As social isolation stretches into the new year, it's important to stay in shape, not just so you can boast about sticking to your resolutions, but also to keep your body in good condition as the pandemic wears on. But you don't need a gym or even expensive home gym equipment to work your muscles and get your heart rate up. John Fitzgerald and Blake Pablo are here to show us an easy routine for which all you need are your floor, some chairs, and a desire to be better than yesterday. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us. This is Blake from Island Doctors and John Fitzgerald with Anytime Fitness. If this is the first time seeing us, we are out there in the community offering a free exercise class twice a week in Pensacola at the Bayview Community Center at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays, as well as in Milton at the Community Center at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. And if you've never heard of Island Doctors, we're a primary care alternative geared towards improving your health, having better health outcomes, and quite frankly, spending more time and attention with you so you can live a happier, healthier life. John, what are we here to do today?
Thanks for asking, Blake. Today we're going to do 4 exercises. The classes that Blake mentioned primarily focus on range of motion, strength building, and of course fall prevention. So today we're going to show everybody about 4 lower body exercises, a quick cardio routine you can do at home, and then finally 2 balance drills that again you can do anywhere. As you see, the only thing we have are 2 chairs. They don't even have to match.
That's right.
This is all you need. The number one excuse Blake and I hear in the community is, Blake, John, I don't have any equipment. With our class, no equipment is necessary, so just follow along. Good to go?
Good to go.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we are going to start sitting down. The first exercise we're going to do are called chair squats. This is the most important exercise we do. We're going to stand up, but we're going to do it smartly. So the first thing you want to do, and I'll move my chair around a little bit so you get a good angle, is you want to have your rear end on the edge of your seat. You want to have your feet in front of you, obviously, about shoulder width apart. Technique, how we do this is important. So we want you to lean forward. We want you to get your nose over your toes. We want you to press through your heels. My hips come forward until I'm in a full standing position. Pause and then reverse. If you cannot do this basic motion, your mobility is going to be limited and therefore your quality of life. Let's do one more, Blake.
Yes, sir.
And remain standing. So again, chair squat. Make sure you start in that forward lean position to get your weight forward. Stand up. If you don't remember anything else from today, do that exercise. 3 more lower body exercises. Today we're focusing on the lower body because obviously that's primarily where our balance occurs. Next exercise, now again we have the chairs here. These are not crutches.
Nope.
These are for your confidence, stability if you need it. We worked our quadriceps and our glute muscles. Next, we're going to work our hamstrings, these muscles, top back part of your leg. Now again, I'm in a nice standing position. I'm nice and straight. My feet pretty close together. I want to bring one heel up toward my rear end, then put it back down, and then alternate. Now again, you can see, and thank you Blake for illustrating, he was doing it in free space. He didn't have any hands on the chair. I do have my hand on the chair, again, to make sure I'm nice and stable. We certainly don't want you falling during a fall prevention exercise drill.
So that's a problem?
That's a huge problem. Now,
Good to know.
As you can see on both our knees, they're right beside each other. That's what you want to focus on. Blake illustrated the knee going forward. You don't want that to happen. You're working the wrong muscle. We want to exercise that hamstring, that big muscle, top part of your leg. My foot that's moving, it is flexed. And you can even put your hand on that hamstring and feel it working. One more. And we're nice and straight. We're not doing this. And relax. Good, good, good. Deep rest, deep rest. Now Blake and I are still beside our chairs. The next exercise we're going to do is called marching in place. This is exactly what it sounds like. Again, now you can put your hands in free space or hold on to the chair. But at the end of the day, I want you to bring one knee up towards your chest, put it back down, and repeat. At your pace. We're not running in place yet.
Nope.
Not yet. That
We're
comes
getting
later.
there.
We're exactly. Stay tuned.
Yep, get excited.
But on this, nice and easy, moving that one knee up towards your chest. Obviously, we're focusing on the hip flexors. The whole purpose of the hip flexors is to bring your foot off the ground. It's called ground clearance. One reason seniors trip is they don't pick their feet up high enough.
That's right.
Over time, those muscles atrophy, become weaker, and eventually we take a spill. So this simple exercise will keep those hip flexors nice and strong, plus mentally remind you to pick your feet up. So
It'll get us to whatever place that you're talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because if you don't pick your feet up, you're going to trip on curbs, sticks, small dogs,
grandchildren.
Grandchildren. And again, we're nice and straight, bringing that knee up, not our chest to our knee. A couple more. And relax. Good, good, good. Now, last lower body exercise. Blake and I call this the big four.
Yep.
We're going to work our calf muscles, these tiny muscles back part of your leg.
Tiny for him.
Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out.
You're welcome.
My feet start together. I'm nice and straight. I'm simply going to go up on my toes, get my heels off the ground and pause, and then back down, and then repeat. Nice and steady. Do it with a purpose. We're not bouncing up and down. Blake, show them what not to do. That's no good. If you want to jump rope, we can do that later.
Yeah.
But this is a nice, smooth motion, pausing again at the top, and then back down. Now, if this becomes too easy, you can always take one leg, wrap it, or one foot, wrap around the other ankle, and go up on that one foot. Clearly, that's more challenging, but if you do that, make sure you do the same number on both feet. Again, nice and easy. And kind of like Blake was talking about earlier, these calves are ignored, but they help propel us from point A to point B. More and more seniors are getting run over in crosswalks because they're walking too slow. One reason these calves are not properly conditioned and they don't go fast enough.
Yep.
Now you may feel that nice burning sensation, right? That's lactic acid. That's a good thing.
Yep.
One more, Blake. And relax. Now, so 4 basic exercises: chair squats, leg curls, marching in place, heel raises. Keep those major muscle groups in our legs strong.
Yep.
Should translate to better mobility and better balance. Now, cardio.
Yay!
Cardio, cardio, cardio. We love cardio. Cardio is anything that gets your heart rate up. Best way to burn fat.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to run in place, but we're going to do it smartly. So we're going to get behind our chair. Again, we have this here for stability. Now I'll move mine out of the way. Our feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. Now I'm going to get into what we call the football stance. And then I'm going to move my feet as quickly as I am comfortable, staying primarily on the balls of my feet. My heels barely, if at all, touch the ground. And I'm taking, both Blake and I are taking nice, tiny baby steps to keep it low impact, protect my knees, my hips, and my back. But I'm moving those feet as quickly as I can to drive my heart rate up.
Yep.
Our heart is a muscle, and just like any other muscle, it has to be challenged. That's how it becomes stronger. Plus, as I mentioned, cardio is one of the best ways to lose weight or maintain a good weight.
Yep.
If you've fallen victim to the quarantine 15, and that's a real thing, we can talk about it at a later date.
Oh, yeah.
This is one way besides a healthy eating habit.
Which we can help you with at Island Doctors. If
Absolutely.
your primary care is not helping you with your nutritional needs, we incorporate that as part of our primary care.
You got it. You got it. Head off those problems. Weight gain has a lot of bad consequences. And relax. Deep breath. Now in our class, Blake and I are always reminding you, breathe, breathe, breathe. And people are like, well, that's easy. Sometimes during exercise, we see people, right? No bueno. Don't hold your breath. So cardio and then 2 quick balance drills, because again, we want to challenge our balance muscles.
Yep.
First exercise, again, deep breath. Take your right foot, Put it in front of your left foot, heel to toe, like you're on a balance beam. Then get centered, have that weight equally distributed between both feet. And then try and balance on that narrow base of support. And now, again, I'm heel to toe, just like I'm on a balance beam. Now your hips may move. That's fine. That's your core muscles waking up and engaging. All right, that's perfectly normal. Now again, we have the chairs beside us. If you want to keep a hand close to that chair, even slightly tapping it, that's perfectly acceptable, and relax. And then obviously, alternate. Take your left foot, put in front of your right foot, and again, get stable. Don't lean back or lean forward. Get that weight distributed. I'm nice and tight and balanced. Now you may find one side is easier than the other. We're left-handed or right-handed dominant usually. So one side may be easier than the other. Last balance drill, the most challenging balance drill. Keep your left foot on the ground. Put your right foot on your ankle, not your knee, your ankle. Again, engage that core and then focus. Now as you can see, my foot is wobbling. Those are called micro adjustments. The added bonus of this exercise, besides obviously challenging our balance muscles, since all of my weight is supported by one leg, it's also an excellent strength builder. All right? And relax. And then obviously alternate. Let's keep our right foot on the ground, left foot our ankle. Again, don't rush it. Engage that core. We're looking forward, right? We're not looking at the ground. You don't go through life looking at the ground. You want to be up. Breathe. Sometimes it helps if you find a spot. Now again, Blake and I are both in what's called Tai Chi pose. If you want to have your hands out, that's fine. Just don't put them in your pocket. And relax. So again, the classes that we do, again, at Bayview on Tuesdays at 9, in the Milton Community Center Wednesdays at 10, we follow the same pattern because, again, science shows a prescribed routine has better results. But if you just do those few simple exercises, we promise you, we've been doing this for what, 4 years?
Yep.
Your balance and your strength and hopefully your mobility and quality of life will improve. If we can help you, let us know. Josh, we certainly appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh.
Excellent. Thank you guys. And until next time, enjoy life. You've earned it.